Okay.
Okay, there it goes. Okay, so, oh, go for it.
Thanks. Okay, so the first question is define problems at the VA. Well, okay, so first off, the problem with this whole situation, it seems like there was just a problem with like the long wait times and these veterans not getting on this waiting list, and the system just seemed like it wasn't working. And so I said some problems was that was stated in the case study was low staff, failed leadership, a lack of understanding of roles and responsibilities, program coordination, long wait times, and bad scheduling practices.
What page are you on?
Yeah, I was gonna say I might be really confused, but
Am
Yeah.
I on the wrong one? Is this chapter 16?
For what class?
The ethics class?
No, it's the ATC one. No, you're good, girl.
I was so confused. I was like, wait.
Oh my,
I was so.
I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm definitely looking at the wrong one. Okay.
It's okay.
That's so-
Are you talking about what is that? IPE like 576?
Yeah.
Wait, what are you doing? Because I'm in that class and I didn't know there was a. I thought the assignment was just to record yourself.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. Hold on.
It's all good.
Honestly, I feel you because I am right there with you with the.
It's a long week.
Literally, I just have so.
Well, and then the classes get confusing because most of them, well, they all start with like IPE, so it's like which one?
Literally, I have like 4 IPE classes, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing the right one for sure. Like,
I'm with you.
okay, do we want to keep going or do we want to wait or?
Yeah, I'll let Grace like find the questions first, and then like we can just kind of.
Yeah, you guys can start.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so it was saying that there's many like conducts of future research, and then like out of the 4 methods, like explain one and like show it or whatever. So I was kind of looking into contact analysis, and it was just basically to like obtain information of like major discussions discussed. And so like the book uses the example of like Twitter to like look for keywords and stuff like that. And so for like real life examples is like whenever you go onto Facebook and type in like keywords to find stuff, or even like when you're in school and doing like a research, when you go into the database of like EBSCOhost and you type in like certain keywords, it provides like a list of articles that talk about that topic or have those keywords within the topic, and from there you can like weed out what you want to use.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I did the backcasting, and basically that's like, I'll put it simply, it's kind of just like taking a big, like you start with the big idea that you're wanting, and then you work backwards with the 6 steps that it says in the book. And so like this project gave an example of like completing a home project, but I kind of focused mine around the class. Like I said, like getting an A on the semester long project that we have. And then I put like the 6 steps to completing that and getting the grade that you wanted. So.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, now that I'm on the right course, I did scenarios. So for scenarios, It involves asking individuals to envision possible futures within a certain context. And so for me, like right now, as like in dance, we're kind of like, okay, we need to figure out different scenarios that like would happen in case somebody would get injured. So we have like what's it called? They're kind of like understudies, they're like alternates. So like we have to figure out like a scenario in which like, okay, what if this person were to be injured? Then an alternate would have to be in, and this is the scenario that would happen if that person was in instead of the other, if that makes sense.
Yes, I follow.
So yeah, kind of wordy, but makes sense.
Same. Okay, and then the second one talks about like the future of healthcare informatics, and then like there's those topics within those pages, and so like indicate what you see around you in everyday care. So like one thing I said was like care anywhere, and so like you kind of really see it these days with like telehealth and providing care without having to like go to the clinic. You see it evolve as like more and more people come into this and then have like their electronic health cares enhanced, and so they're starting to have more say in their health. So it also mentions like remote monitoring. So like in my job, like we serve some clients who have this kind of monitoring where like their blood pressure is monitored 24 hours. So if it's too high, too low, it alerts someone else just in case something happens. You see that with seizures. I recently watched the TikTok where like there's like a watch that will detect a seizure before it happens, and so like it alerts someone else, stuff like that. If a client gets in and out of bed, if they go outside, all that crazy stuff. So like you just really get care anywhere with remote monitoring, stuff like that.
Yeah. For that one, I did like kind of like how you mentioned the telehealth and how it focused on like the patient centeredness, because it's more like one-on-one. Because well, I mean, it's just like more focused, like kind of like a Zoom meeting. You're just like one-on-one, and you really just have to pay attention and listen to each other. And so
Yeah, I also mentioned telehealth because I use telehealth for therapy actually, and it's honestly the greatest thing ever because it's like over Zoom and I get to lay in bed and do therapy when I'm in bed, and it's kind of great. And also you mentioned with the watches, I also put like Apple watches, like they can detect the seizures now, which is really cool how technology works. And also kind of social media in a way. I feel like social media is very like they promote a lot of like things.
health awareness.
Yeah. They promote a lot of like patient-centered or like person-centered devices, and there's a lot of like promotion going around and like ads and stuff about that kind of thing. So
Yeah, and then like the cool thing about social media just kind of made me think about like using Twitter to find like public health stuff. Like it just advances like the public health stuff to identify like where is the biggest threat and stuff like that. If like, you know, when COVID outbroke, like an outbreak happens.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so are we all done with that one? Okay, so then the next one says like reread the section of your book that talks about nanotechnology, and then how might these affect your everyday life and the future and stuff like that. I thought this one was kind of cool because like nanotechnology is kind of like in everything we use, literally. So I just kind of talked about like how I use it in my computers. I mean, anything we really use technology wise is going to have this nanotechnology. And then so it's just like constantly advancing and constantly like pushing life more into the future. And so as it advances, it makes like medical equipment or even any equipment to alert people, like those monitor devices like the watch and stuff like that, stronger and more useful. And so, I mean, computers are always advancing, so healthcare technology is literally always advancing as well.
Yeah, so kind of like how the equipment that you mentioned, I found like this research page and it said that like with, I don't know exactly how, but with like the nanotechnology advances, that they're making some sort of like pill sort of thing that you like take and it helps like monitor things. I don't know. I just researched that and I thought that was really cool. And then also kind of going off of what you said, how it just constantly is advancing everything in the healthcare field and just makes everything easier and it just revolves around patient care a lot.
I kind of wonder if like what you mentioned with the pill and they can like monitor things on the inside instead of like having to make like a colonoscopy a big deal, if they could just stick like a tiny little camera, use
Yeah.
nanotechnology to make things
Yeah.
easier.
No, I read about that and I was like, holy crap, like I have never even
Yeah.
thought about that. That's insane.
It kind of makes you think about like when you're little and you watch like the Magic School Bus and like they shrink and like go
Yes.
inside a human. Yeah,
Like, oh my gosh.
it's
That's
real.
Going off like what you got, I mean, you basically covered all about technology. I also like really back to like COVID when we were all kind of forced to adapt to technology almost because of, we couldn't be outside and we couldn't do anything. So I feel like that's when everybody started gaining some technical knowledge. And since then, it's only like grown. And I think with that, honestly, like COVID, that could have been like a good side of COVID, I guess, is that like people were more familiar with how technology works. But that's like one of the only benefits of
Yeah, I see what you mean, and I can definitely agree with that, especially like now when you're taking like seated classes, like they always now put in the syllabus, like, oh, if you're sick, let us know. We'll give you a Zoom link so that you could participate in class. Or like
yeah.
now, like I job shadow at Jordan Valley a lot, and they're like, oh, you live so far away to come to your like OT appointment. Let's just do it through Zoom and stuff like that. We'll do like a teletherapy type of deal and stuff like that. So now it's like used so much than we ever have before.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that like honestly, like COVID helped develop these like new technology, like especially like healthcare, especially
Yeah.
like remote healthcare.
Because like
Right.
some of these things never even been like thought about and now it's just like a normal everyday occurrence.
I know,
Yeah.
like it's kind of weird to think about trying to do OT or like PT or any type of those like healthcare kind of things that are like so hands-on through, Zoom and stuff like that. But now it's just so normal because of COVID that kind of forced us to do it all. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I had.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Is that all it was?
I think so. Make sure I'm not missing one.
Yeah, I think so. Now that I'm on the right class.
A girl, I get it. It happens.
There's
Yeah,
just so
no.
much going on up there. Sometimes
I have
it
my
just
other IP meeting later tonight too. So I was like, make sure we're putting the right one.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we'll end this and then I'll upload it. Okay.
Perfect.